The moment began in silence. Cameras were off, schedules were done, and the members had finally gathered after a long day. But in that stillness, something shifted. A call came that would change the mood in an instant. It was from Taehyung's mother, her voice trembling, her tone filled with fear. Jin was the first to pick up the phone, his face tightening as he listened. Then he turned, his expression grave. "It's Taehyung's mom," he said quietly. "Something's wrong." No one in the room moved for a moment. Then, before anyone could react further, Taehyung walked in. His eyes were already red, his breathing uneven. Jin immediately stood, his instinct as the eldest kicking in. He reached out, but Taehyung took a step back, visibly fighting back tears. "She's in the hospital," he whispered, his voice breaking. The air froze. Within seconds, Jungkook was already moving. He grabbed his jacket, keys, and mask without another word. Jin followed, his hand resting briefly on Taehyung's shoulder. "We're going with you," he said. No one argued. The moment wasn't about fame, or schedules, or headlines. It was about family. The drive to Taehyung's home was silent. Jungkook's hands tightened around the steering wheel, his eyes locked ahead, while Jin sat beside him, calling to confirm details. Taehyung sat in the back, trembling, whispering prayers under his breath. Outside, Seoul's city lights blurred into streaks of gold and blue. Inside the car, time stood still. When they arrived, Taehyung's father met them at the door. His face was pale, eyes swollen from tears. "She fainted," he said softly, "but she's stable now." Taehyung nearly collapsed from relief, falling into his father's arms. Jin and Jungkook exchanged glances, a mix of fear and gratitude. But as they stepped inside, Taehyung's emotions finally broke. "I am in front of Jin," he cried. Not the controlled tears of a celebrity, but the deep, painful sobs of a son. The kind that come from love, from fear, from helplessness. Jin immediately pulled him close, holding him as if to shield him from the world. Jungkook stood nearby, silent, his eyes glistening. The room was filled with memories, family photos, laughter frozen in frames, the soft scent of Taehyung's childhood home. But that night, everything felt fragile. Every breath, every sound, every heartbeat carried the weight of uncertainty. Jin whispered comforting words, his tone calm and steady. Jungkook quietly made tea in the kitchen, the way he had seen Jin do countless times when someone was hurting. Hours passed, but no one left. The three stayed by Taehyung's side as updates from the hospital continued. His mother was resting, doctors said, but they would have to keep her overnight for observation. Relief washed over them, yet the fear lingered, a reminder of how quickly life can turn. At one point, Taehyung lifted his head, his voice shaking. "Hyung, I thought I was going to lose her." Jin squeezed his hand. "You didn't. She's strong just like you." Jungkook nodded quietly, adding, "You're not alone, Hyung. You never will be." That line struck deep, not just for Taehyung, but for anyone who's ever needed someone to stay when everything feels like it's falling apart. BTS's connection has always been something fans admired, but moments like this reveal why it's more than friendship. It's brotherhood. By dawn, the tension began to ease. The three of them sat in the living room, exhausted but together. Jin leaned back on the couch, eyes half closed, while Jungkook played softly with a guitar, strumming chords that filled the silence. Taehyung sat between them, calmer now, though his eyes were still swollen from crying. "Thank you," he murmured. Jin smiled faintly. "No need. That's what we're here for." The next morning, fans noticed unusual activity online. Jungkook had gone live briefly, though he said almost nothing. His face looked tired, but peaceful. "I just wanted to say, hug your parents tonight," he whispered. "Sometimes you don't realize how much they mean to you until something scares you." It was only a few seconds long, but it was enough. ARMYs instantly knew something had happened. Later that day, Jin posted a simple message: "Family first. Always." It was short, but the impact was enormous. Fans from around the world began trending supportive hashtags for Taehyung and his family, flooding social media with purple hearts and messages of love. Taehyung himself stayed quiet for several days. Then, when he finally appeared at a rehearsal, he was different. Softer. Quieter. But his eyes carried a new kind of light, one that only comes after tears. During a break, someone handed him a mic for a test. Instead of the usual joke, he began to sing, not for the stage, not for an audience, but for healing. His voice trembled at first, then grew stronger, fuller, filled with emotion that needed no translation. When Jin and Jungkook walked in, they didn't say a word. They simply listened. And when Taehyung finished, they clapped softly, tears glistening in their eyes. "She'll be proud when she hears that," Jin said. Taehyung smiled faintly. "She already is." The bond they share, unspoken but unbreakable, once again reminded the world what makes BTS more than just artists. In an industry often built on image and perfection, these men have always chosen authenticity. Their love for each other, their families, and their fans has become a language of its own, one that needs no words, only presence. As the days passed and Taehyung's mother recovered, the world slowly learned pieces of what had happened. No official statements were made, yet the fans didn't need them. They understood. The sincerity in Taehyung's recent interactions, the way Jin kept a protective eye on him during events, the way Jungkook's voice softened when he mentioned family, it all spoke volumes. Weeks later, during a group interview, Jin was asked about the night everyone talked about. He hesitated for a moment, then said, "Sometimes real life reminds us that we're not superheroes. We're sons, brothers, friends. And in those moments, what matters most is being there." Jungkook nodded, his gaze turning distant. Taehyung taught us that strength isn't about holding it in. It's about letting people in. That single sentence became a mantra across the fandom. Fans began using it in messages, videos, and even artwork, turning one painful night into a symbol of hope and unity. When Taehyung finally spoke publicly about it, his words were simple yet unforgettable. "I cried that night, not because I was weak, but because I realized how loved I am." Those words resonated deeply with millions. They reminded people that vulnerability is not shameful, it's human. That behind the glamour, behind the fame, behind every perfect performance, there are moments of raw emotion, moments when even the strongest hearts need to be held. And so, that night, the night Taehyung cried in front of Jin, the night Jungkook rushed to his house, the night a mother's voice broke through the silence, will forever remain one of the most emotional chapters in BTS's journey. Not because of tragedy, but because of love. What do you think truly happened that night, ARMY? Have you ever had a moment where love arrived when you least expected it? Share your thoughts below, and let's remind the world together. Love doesn't always shout. Sometimes it cries, sometimes it runs, and sometimes it simply stays. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories that show the heart behind BTS, because every tear they shed tells a story worth remembering.